Don't try and change yourself, but submit unto the Lord, and He will certainly transform you. For if He did it for me, guys, what more you? Do you think He can fail with you, guys? Guys, He will not fail. God is not known for failing, and He's definitely not going to start with you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back yet again, guys, to yet another episode where today we are going to be discussing the effects of negative thinking and how negative thinking affected my life. Now, did it affect my life in a positive way, or it affected my life in a positive way? That is what we're going to be discussing today, guys. The power of negative thinking, and as well how negative thinking affected my life. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the family, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button on your way in. Now, how did negative thinking affect my life? You know, have you ever tried so hard to change your results in life, but the harder that you try to change them, the more that you keep getting the same results? Have you ever gotten to a point whereby you're trying so hard, you want different results, you try to do a certain activity, but you still get the same results, and you start to wonder, what's really wrong? Is it me, or just there's other external forces that are just against me? One singer then said, if I dream about prosperity, I wake up and I have nothing in my hand. But if I dream about negative things and negative outcomes in my life, I wake up and behold, they are the things that are tangible, and they are the things that become existent in my reality. Have you ever gotten to that stage, guys, whereby you're trying so hard? You're trying so hard to change your results. You're trying so hard. You try to plant A, you try to plant B, you try to plant C, but they all come together and they fail. And you wonder, why do I keep getting the same results all the time? And this is where I found myself, guys, where I was thinking to myself, why am I getting these results? Why do I keep getting these results? I try to do this, I get the same results. I try to do another activity, I get the same results as well. Why do I keep getting the same results? Now, guys, negative thinking has a negative effect on your life. I used to think in such a negative way. I used to think the reason why I'm not successful is because the government is doing A, the government is doing B, the government is doing C. Government is just putting laws for me not to be successful. Therefore, it is the government's fault. If it is not the government, it is something else. It was never me in this whole scenario. Now, I'm going somewhere with this. Now, with this type of thinking and this type of negative thinking, I always removed responsibility from myself and accountability for myself. And I always blamed external activities and said, this is the reason why my things are not going well. I would look for a reason, no matter how small it was. I would look for it from external things. And I would always blame external environments, external circumstances. And I would always look at them and say, they are the reason for my downfall. They are the reason for why my things are not prospering. They are the reason for why my things are not going the way that I want them to go. Now, as I kept on thinking about these things, guys, I kept on going on downward spiral road. Everything just kept on going downwards and downwards and downwards and downwards. Just when I thought I'd reached the bottom, I kept going downwards again, and I realized, this is not the way to go. That's when I realized that, no, man, surely there's something different. Surely there's something that I can do to change all of these negative things that are happening in my life. Surely there must be a solution. So surely there must be a clue, something, just something for me to be able to get different results. This is where I started looking, and I said, okay, so if I'm getting these results, that means I'm thinking a certain type of way, And I said, okay, but I want to be here, and I'm currently here. So how then do I get myself here? So then I started looking at the people that I aspire to get to, or a level of of success that I want to get to. And I started to look at the way that they operate in their life. And I started to look at their type of thinking. And I realized, guys, that my type of thinking and their type of thinking were two different worlds. These were two totally different worlds. For them, guys, they take ownership of the results that they have in their life. For me, I was at a point whereby I was blaming external things. I was always looking to blame someone else, blame the government, blame outside circumstances, never myself. I'd always blame something else. But when it came to them, they'd always look at something and say, okay, this thing is happening. I take full accountability for it. And I try to find a way to change whatever it is that I have in my life. And whatever results I have, that means I must have thought about them. And this is the reality that is now manifested for me in my life. And also another mindset that they had that I admired was when outside circumstances came, or when something that was not beneficial for them came, they would look, okay, this is an event that has happened. But what is the positive that I can derive from this situation? For everything, guys, there's always an opposite to everything. It's the law of polarity. And I learned that, guys. And I said, okay, so since there's a law of polarity, that means there's an opposite to everything. There's a left and there's a right. There's an up and there's a down, right? So when other activities happen in their lives, guys, they don't look to blame the outside circumstance, but they say, since this is a negative outcome in my life, how then can I use this to my advantage? How can I use this negative thing that is happening in my life to my advantage? What positives can I derive from this thing? For remember, guys, for every negative, there's a positive. For every up, there's a down. The law of polarity. So instead of them just looking at the negative stuff and saying, okay, we are in this negative, guys, and we just dwell in that negative, they look for the positive in the negative. Now, me in my state, I would have looked at the negative situation and just dwelled in it and just focus more on the negative. Therefore, me focusing on the negative, I would then attract more negative things to come again in my life. And this was just an endless cycle. And I was tired of these things, guys. And I said, I cannot keep living this way. I cannot keep attracting these negative things. I cannot keep living in this way. So therefore, what can I do? That's when I came across a verse in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, that says, be ye transformed by letting God change the way that you think. Guys, I was already dancing, okay. But the Bible then says, be ye transformed by letting God change the way that you think. Then I also got a verse again in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7, that says, as a man thinketh, so is he. These are two distinct verses. And I then realized that no, this negative thinking that is happening in my life, I have attracted this because I started to look at my thoughts, guys. I was always blaming other things. I was always blaming external events. I was always blaming someone else and not myself. That's when I realized that there's actually an error here. And the error was with myself in the way that I approach things, So therefore, I started to change the way that I think. I allowed God to change the way that I think. Let's rephrase that, guys. I allowed God to change the way that I think. I didn't start to look and start to try and change my own mind. I came to God and I admitted, God, I don't know. I want to be here, but I'm currently here. But I don't know how I'm going to get here. So therefore, may you change my mind. For the Bible says that you are going to be the one that changes my mind, right? So I did not try and change things by myself, but I submitted to God. And this is a message I want to bring to you today, guys, that you don't have to try and do everything on your own, okay? Don't try and fix yourself. Go to God, guys, and God is going to tell you, okay, you want me to change the way that you think? Come, read this book, read that, watch this, listen to that. Guys, and by doing that, your way of thinking is going to be changed. And this is the thing that God started doing for me in my life, guys. God will tell me, read this book. Okay, after you've read this book, listen to this podcast, listen to that, listen to this, listen to that, listen to this type of speaker, listen to that. Guys, and my way of thinking started changing gradually. I didn't start to say I want to, the desire to change was within myself. I wanted to change, and I asked God, God, help me to change. For the Bible says, and your word says, that you will help me to change my mind. And you also says that as a man thinketh, so is he. And you also say, if you ask me for anything in my name, I will do it. So therefore, this is my request. Change the way that I think. And guys, I wouldn't say that I am where I want to be, but I'm on my way there, guys. But I'm not where I am today because of my own power. And that's the message I want to get to you guys, that you don't have to do it yourself. Just submit to God, guys. Have the desire within yourself and submit unto God, guys. And I'm telling you that today, that God is going to certainly make the changes for you, and He's going to tell you what you have to do. Now, guys, when God told me to read a certain book, God did not read the book for me. I also still had to apply the effort to read the book. And also, guys, by reading the book, you also ask for strength and say, God, I need strength from you for me to be able to do these things in my life. And this is the message I just wanted to bring to you today, guys, that in everything that you do, right, submit unto the Lord in everything that you do, and God will certainly change the way that you think. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it for yourself. You don't have to try and, fix your life, disappear for 90 days and fix your life. No, guys, you have to submit to the Lord and allow God to transform you, and allow God to change the way that you think, and allow God to work on you so that you don't have to work on yourself. It's like always, work on yourself, work on this. Guys, let God be the one that directs you, and let Him be the one that leads you. Negative thinking affected my life in a negative way, because I started to attract a negative reality. I started to attract a negative way of living, and that's not where I wanted to be. But when I submitted to God, He was then able to transform me and to put me to where I am today. And I'm telling you today that the same God that did it for me can do it for you as well. Can I repeat that? The same God that did it for me can do it for you as well. If He can do it for me, guys, surely He can do it for you. And that's just the message I wanted to leave with you today, guys, that submit unto the Lord. Let Him change the way that you think, and let Him change your mindset, for He will change you, guys, from thinking negatively to thinking about all the possibilities, and changing, guys, if I could tell you the things that I think about now, some of you may just faint. But yeah, this is where we are today. And I just wanted to leave that message with you today, that remember, don't try and change yourself, but submit unto the Lord, and He will certainly transform you. For if He did it for me, guys, what more you? Do you think He can fail with you, guys? Guys, He will not fail. God is not known for failing, and He's definitely not going to start with you. And that's the end of our message for today. May God be with you, and may God bless you. And until we meet again next time, ciao.